Okay, I have to put out a disclaimer that my eye makeup is not my favorite. This is definitely the least favorite look I've done with this palette that I used today. But I didn't have time to redo it, so I'm just going to be wearing it during this video. But yeah, I just want to throw out there, if it looks a little odd, I know. I think it looks odd. It's just too low. I should have taken all the colors a bit higher, but I just didn't, and then I couldn't fix it. And now I have to film this video today or I won't get it done, so this is the look we're going with. But anyway, hello, my name is Katie Marie, and thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to check out another one of my videos, or if you're new here, hello and welcome. I hope you enjoy. I'm a lover of eyeshadow palettes, and today is my favorite video to film, and of course I have like the worst eye makeup look that I've done in like a month, but whatever. It's my favorite video because it is a palette palooza where I get to talk and give you guys my review of all the palettes I tried the previous month, so this will be all the palettes I tried during the month of July. Before we jump right into the reviews, I do want to give my Instagram shout out, and for today the Instagram shout out goes to Makeup with Michelle Renee. She is a fellow YouTuber, super sweet, always super supportive on my Instagram, and she is my randomly selected commenter from my most recent post. So thank you so much, Michelle, for always being so sweet and commenting on my posts. But yeah, Michelle, you are the Instagram shout out for today, and if you want a chance to be featured at the beginning of my videos, all you have to be doing is following me on Instagram. I'm LadyKatie92, and comment on my posts as I post them up, and I randomly select someone when I sit down to film. So now, let's get in. We have 5 palettes that we're going to be reviewing, and per usual, if you don't know, if you're new here, we do this in a countdown fashion, so I start with my least favorite and work my way all the way up to the most favorite from the month. So let's get started. Okay, for number 5, coming in at the very bottom, this was very easy. This is the Blush Tribe Laila 2. Now, I do want to say Blush Tribe is no longer a thing. They have been shut down, but they came back as the Melia Beauty brand, but it's not called a rebrand. It is a new brand, so whatever you want to call that. Blush Tribe, this palette is no longer available, but I did want to mention it since I did do 3 looks. I have been using it, and I do have a review. It's at the bottom for a very good reason. I found this actually really hard to build up on itself. Anytime that I took one color into the crease, whatever that was, no matter if it was the yellows, the greens, I found that if I wanted to put another color on top of it and like blend it and add depth into the crease, it was very hard to get that second shade to want to stick to it. It just kind of wanted to give a little wash of color or not even stick down at all. Every time I used this palette, I had a bit of a struggle to get the look how I wanted it. I feel like if you're someone who just puts one eyeshadow in the crease, maybe another one on the outer corner, and then a shimmer on the lid, you probably wouldn't have a problem with it. But if you're someone like me who likes to add depth, who likes to use as many colors and likes to play with mattes as much as she can when she sits down to do a look, I wouldn't recommend this palette. And the reason I'm kind of still reviewing this as if you could get it is because I bought this off of Poshmark well after Blush Tribe shut down, so you can still grab this, you know, from people who are selling it, but I wouldn't recommend it because I found the formula just did not want to stick down, which I was very surprised because I do have the Polina palette, I do have their Hasina 2 palette, I think, and I remember having a great time with them. Like, I don't remember the struggles that I went through with this green palette. So I don't know if they changed the formula. I don't know if it's because it was more greens, more bright greens, a little bit more on the pastel side with some of these. Whatever the case was, I did not enjoy working with the mattes, and the shimmers in here were just okay. They weren't anything to write home about. I feel like the shimmers in general just were a wash of color. They weren't anything pigmented. They weren't anything super shimmery or metallic. So overall, now that I have this palette, I'm really just kind of like, the packaging is pretty, and that's like all it does for me. Moving along for my number 4 spot, it is the PUR Festival 2.0 palette. Now, I do have a 3 looks 1 palette plus review already up on my channel, so I'll leave that link down in the description box if you want to see the looks that I did and also to hear more in depth on my thoughts for this palette. But overall, I felt like this palette was just okay. It didn't do anything crazy for me in the way of the mattes. They were fine. They were very nice. They worked well. I thought they built up nicely and they were nicely pigmented. But when we're talking about the like color variety, really the only fun color for me was this hot pink. Everything else was more on the neutral, softer side. And then when we're moving on to the shimmers in this palette were kind of touted or marketed as being something super special and different in that they were like glitters, but they weren't the typical type of glitter, which intrigued me. But when I actually used them, they're just a really intense metallic type of formula, but they're not a very good one. Like, think of a really good indie brand, like I'm thinking Give Me Glow's metallic formula that's just so amazing, so beautiful. It's like that, but a lot drier, flakier, and it has glitter in it, so you get that fallout, and it's just more of a chunky texture. Is it impossible to use? No. No. Does it create pretty looks? Yes. It's just not my favorite type of metallic shimmery formula to work with because of just the consistency of it. So check out my review because I go into more detail on what exactly it feels like and how it applies. I found that I had to use a very specific brush to get these to apply very easily, and I had to use glitter glue and all that stuff. So check out my review if you want to hear more on that. But overall, I just thought this palette was okay. But overall, I feel like the biggest reason it kind of landed so low was just because the color story is much more of a neutral subdued, and then just the formulas aren't my favorite to work with. So that's why it landed low. But if you have this palette, is it terrible? No, I thought it was very nice. It does create some nice looks. It's just not my preference when it comes to the formulas and the color story. So hence why it landed so low in my countdown. So for my number 3 spot, this isn't really an official palette, it is more of singles. I used a bunch of singles this past month, so I did want to give them a spot in my palette Palooza. And the singles that I'm going to be mainly reviewing are from TerraMoons, but I also want to mention a couple from Makeup Geek and also Shroud Cosmetics. But these were the new single shadows to my collection that I kind of created my own single shadow palette. If you guys watch my Shop My Stash, or no, I think it was my Organizing My Singles, I created a palette so that I could test these out. But I did want to come on here and be able to review these for you guys and give you guys my opinions on the singles. Now, when we're talking about TerraMoon, I'm not going to mention too much her neon mattes because she did reformulate the neon, so I have no idea what her new neons will be like or how they perform, so I don't really want to speak to them. I found these just fine, but I didn't use them too much because I did find out that she came out with a reformulated version of her pressed neon, so I was kind of like, oh, no point in reviewing them. But they were nice. They worked really well as an inner corner highlight, you know, that pop of neon. So anyway, let's just talk about the shades up here. These are their iridescent chameleons, and then I think they're chameleons. I'll leave them all linked down below because they don't really say it on the back. They just say the name. And if you're curious, this is I got Snow Globe, Charon, this is IO, I believe, or LO. I'm not really sure. And then Light Year. So those are the 4 that I tried, and these are beautiful. They're stunning. They are absolutely gorgeous. If you're someone who just wants as much reflect, as much sparkle, as much shifting of colors and just reflecting of light as you can on your eyes, you're gonna love these. For me personally, the one downside that I saw is whenever I use these as an inner corner highlight, because I never tend to put glitter glue down when I'm putting something on my inner corner, I got a lot of fallout onto my face. So, I mean, I could have easily solved that by putting on glitter glue on my inner corner, but I'm someone with very sensitive eyes, and just the thought of like putting glitter glue right around that area I felt like would be a bit of a hot mess, so I just opted to not do it. And because of that, I would get a lot of fallout. Now, there were a couple days I did use this all over my eyes, and I did use glitter glue, and I like experienced barely any fallout. So I feel like definitely, if you're someone who's going to put this all over your lid, definitely use a glitter glue. And I feel like you'll be very happy and won't experience any kind of fallout. But just something to note, there is a ton of fallout just because there's just so much intensity, so much sparkle in these. But that aside, they are beautiful. They are gorgeous. For me personally, I don't feel like I have to have every color that they have, or like every color in this, because for me, this shadow, this type of shadow, while it's gorgeous, I like it as an inner corner, and that's about it. Like, I like it as all over my eyes, but I feel like it's very translucent, so I prefer more color, more intensity, more metallic than a lot of sparkle, if that makes sense, or a lot of like iridescent sparkle. So for me, I definitely preferred these as the inner corner. When I used them all over my eyes, they were very pretty, but I definitely preferred it when I had a base underneath it and then put these over top just to give that sparkle. And then it was gorgeous and beautiful. But just something to know, I feel like for me and my preferences, and just maybe it's my love for palettes, I prefer to have colorful palettes, whereas this gives you a lot of beautiful shine, beautiful glow, beautiful sparkle, but it's very iridescent wash of color. Now, I knew that going in because these, I think most of them are iridescent chameleons, and I was buying this for that inner corner, and with that in mind, I was absolutely happy for it. But just figured I would throw it out there for anyone who was wondering. And when you put it all over your lid, I just feel like it was a little bit more of a softer look, which if you like that, more of like a softer, colorful, but still intensely sparkly look, which if that's what you like, totally cool, you'll love these. But for me personally, I like more color and pigment on my lid. I know I feel like I say that all the time, but just something to note. But other than that, these are absolutely beautiful. Did I need to have 2 that were like green or one? I think this is more like a white green and then a gold. No, I kind of wish I picked up a couple different colors and had like 1 in each, so like a green, a blue, a purple, that sort of thing. That way I can use these as inner corner highlights and be able to have a lot of versatility. With it being as it is now, I feel like, especially these 2 greens, when you put them on, like they're almost the same. Like that's how close they are. I feel like you don't need them. So just something to throw out there, that was definitely a bit of a buyer's remorse for me, and buying so many that were so similar in color, but I just couldn't choose when I was buying, so that's why I bought them. But just a little something to throw out there. They are very close in color, so I don't think you need the entire TerraMoon's Iridescent Chameleon collection, or all of her iridescent, all of her chameleon collections. I think you can pick and choose one of each color and you'll be very happy with it. But that's just coming from me. Moving over, like I said, I did want to touch on the Shroud Cosmetics and Makeup Geek. Shroud Cosmetics singles, which are these two, are absolutely beautiful. I have Sea of Ghosts and Artifact. They are gorgeous and stunning. They give so much color. They don't give a crazy ton of shine, but they give a lot of color and they're so easy to apply onto your lid. They take no time to build up, which is what I like to see, and they're just a dream to work with. They give a lot of color. They give a little bit of intensity of like a metallic-y, but not too much, and nothing blinding, but they're definitely there. They definitely give a little bit of kick. They're not that soft, barely there shimmer, which I really like. That's kind of my preference when it comes to shimmer. This is the type of shimmer I like to see. Moving over to Makeup Geek, these are both really pretty because they are bright greens. I have Bay Breeze and Limelight. I don't know if these are still available because I did get them discontinued before they changed pans, but anyway, these are absolutely beautiful, but they're definitely more of that soft shimmer. They're very bright when you put them on. They give a lot of light reflect, and they're very like sparkly and shiny and reflect the light on the lid, but when we're talking about color, they're a bit softer. So they're not my absolute favorite. I feel like they're more on the M Cosmetics. If you saw my one brand review of M Cosmetics, that's kind of what I said about her shimmers. They're very pretty. They are very, you know, reflective of light, but they're very soft and gentle overall, and just like the shine that it gives is a gentle shine. That's kind of what Makeup Geek reminds me of, except that I feel like M Cosmetics is a lot easier to apply. These took a little bit of pressing and really working it into the brush to get it onto your eyelid. So if you're someone who likes that more softer look to your eyelid, but still with that shine and that reflectiveness, I still recommend M, but Makeup Geek is also a good option too, and that's kind of what I find in these shadows. And that's why I want to put it right here in the middle at the number 3 spot, because they're just, all of them, I had such a great time. I created so many fun looks with singles. It's going to be really hard for me to figure out how to put them on the screen, so I'll probably be writing out which brand I'm using in the, or which shadow I guess I'm using, because yeah, it's definitely a lot harder when I'm using a bunch of different ones to be able to show you guys in these videos, but I'm going to work something out. So I hope those pictures, as always, are helpful for you guys to be able to see how they look on my eyes. Okay, for number 2 spot is Give Me Glow Extra Spicy palette. This palette was so much fun, and not only is it a fun color story with just such hot, fun colors, but the looks that I created mixing the orange and the red were so much more fun than I thought. I don't know what about the mix of orange, or even this like more yellowy, I guess, orange and red, just I love it so much, but I really do. I think the first time I ever did it was with the, oh, what is that called? It's the Nutty Bird Vitamin C palette. Was the first time I did like a yellow to red, and I absolutely loved it. Same story with this, using this more orangey yellow, whatever this color is, with the reds. I absolutely love the color story, and all of the looks that I got with this palette, I absolutely loved. I thought it was so much fun. The shimmers in here are the standard Give Me Glow formula. They are just so blinding, so beautiful, so intense. I do recommend a glitter glue with them just because they are so emollient and so smooth, but still so reflective. You definitely need a little something to keep them there if you're someone with hooded or, you know, deep set eyes like I am. I just feel like they stayed a lot better when I had a glitter glue behind them. I will say that 24 karat wings and maybe even a little bit of ghost peppers, but I think mostly 24 karat wings appears to have some kind of glitter or sparkle to it that's a little bit chunkier, so I tended to see, if I didn't use this with a glitter glue, I did see fallout of that glitter chunkiness or whatever it is that reflect in there. I would see that fall on my face throughout the day. These other two though just seem like standard shimmers. Like I said, ghost pepper maybe a tad, but On Fire is definitely just the standard Give Me Glow shimmer, and I absolutely love their shimmers. They're just so blinding, but so smooth, so easy to work with, and these are the shimmers, these are the metallics that I absolutely love. Give Me Glow nails it every time, and the ones that they include in their palette are just as good as the ones I've tried in the past. Moving over to the mattes, let's talk about the non-red ones. They are absolutely beautiful, stunning. I had no issues with them. They're the standard matte formula when it comes to Give Me Glow. So pigmented and so easy to work with. When we're talking about the reds, which specifically are these two reds, they work good. But there were a couple times that I had just the teensiest bit of an issue with them, where either they would want to stick in a spot, or they would almost want to ball or like leave a bald patch, if that makes any sense. Like when you're packing it on, you pack the color on, it looks great, and then you're starting to blend and you're noticing in the center where you first set it down, it's almost like the color's wanting to not stick there anymore. And I can't say for sure which one did that, because I feel like I went back and forth and they're just so similar. Honestly, there's some days I would pick up one and I couldn't remember and I go to the other one. So I kind of use those two intermittently, because that is the biggest critique with this palette. I feel like these two shadows, why put two reds? Like you could have taken one of those reds out and put a green in there, and not only would that not have changed any of the deep red looks in this, because these two are so similar, they definitely could have taken one of these two reds out and popped in like a green, and not only would you not have missed the other red because they're that similar, but you would have also have given this palette, this color story, so many other possibilities with a grungy green in there. I really feel like that was a missed opportunity. And even like the palette itself is screaming at you that it needs a green, because like, look at the tops of the chilies. They're green stems. But anyway, I feel like everyone has mentioned that they needed a green in here, so I'm not going to harp on that too long. But I did want to point out that the two reds, while they are beautiful, and for the majority of the time, for all the looks that I did, I absolutely loved how they looked. I really did enjoy working with the reds and incorporating them into my looks. There were just a couple times that I was just like, something's a little fishy here, and I either had to work a little harder to fix the issue, or I had to kind of tread a little more carefully to make sure I didn't make the issue worse. And so that's why I kind of put it where it's at number 4 spot, and didn't give it the number 1, and just want to throw that caution out there, because while I love their formula, I love this color story, there's just a little something with the reds that I want to make sure you're aware of. But overall, I still really like the palette. I think Gimme Glow did a great job. I absolutely love the color story. I did so many looks with this palette, way more than I needed to, because I just enjoyed using this palette so much. I did not want to stop, and hence why there are only 5 palettes this month, because between this and my number 1, there was just so many looks I wanted to do, so I did them all. But anyway, can't wait to see what palette Give Me Glow comes out with next, because they totally hit this one out of the park. I really do like it, and yes, it's gonna go back there somewhere once I'm done with this video. Okay, for my number 1 spot, it's What's on My Eyes, and as I said, it's like, this is the worst look that I did with this palette, so I'm going to be sharing with you guys all the looks I did, so definitely judge it more on those looks than today's looks. But anyway, it is the Gimme Glow Pretty in Pastel bundle. Now, the reason I'm calling it as a palette is because Gimme Glow did put a post on their social media saying that this was such a hit that they are going to be turning it into an actual palette, releasing sometime next year. So that's why I'm going ahead and giving it an official ranking in my Palette Palooza and giving you guys my official review. When I had purchased it, I was just planning to mention it to you guys what I thought, but I wasn't really planning to do a review because I thought it was limited edition. But since it is going to be coming out as a palette, I do want to give you guys my full in-depth thoughts on it. And I actually did go ahead and record a 3 looks 1 palette plus review for this collection. I don't know when I'm going to be posting that, just because it's something that, like, you can't get this right now, so I feel like it wouldn't really be helpful to post it right now. So I might hold on to it, and maybe when I get pregnant and I'm too sick to do any looks or to record any looks or to record any videos, I can work on that and upload it. But I'm going to hold on to it a while, and maybe once we get a date, then I can post my 3 looks 1 palette plus review, and that way you guys can see my full in-depth thoughts, and then also the 3 looks that I did, or the 3 looks that I recorded for that video with this collection. I do want to mention down here are all my other Gimme Glow shadows, with the exclusion of these over here. Those are other brands, but yeah, these are all Gimme Glow. Same great formula, same great metallic, same great mattes. Absolutely love them. But we're just going to talk about this top row because it is the Pretty in Pastel bundle. And if they include all of these shadows in their new palette, this is the only pastel palette you'll need, because they are true pastels. Like, when you look at them and you swatch them, they're pastels, but they are so pigmented. I want to say they give me even more pigment than Shroud Cosmetics. And I feel like when I tried Shroud Cosmetics, that was very pigmented and very easy to work with, but Gimme Glow's Pretty in Pastel is even easier to work with and even more pigmented, in my humble opinion. And Gimme Glow, like I said, this is if they keep all of these shadows in their new palette, but if they do, Gimme Glow's pastel palette, or Pretty in Pastel bundle, will give you more pastels, more options than the Shroud Cosmetics. So that's why I feel like if they keep everything together, this palette will absolutely trump any other pastel palette on the market for me personally. I will say I feel like the shimmeries, like, some of them are a little bit more flakier than others, but they're still such a creamy formula. They're so emollient, they're so easy to work with, and they are so beautiful. So beautiful. Again, I cannot stress enough how gorgeous their shimmers are. I absolutely love them. Another thing I like too is that you can use these, as long as you go a little bit light-handed because they are pigmented, you can use these shimmers as highlights. Today I have this yellow one right here as my highlight, and I think it's absolutely beautiful and definitely very blinding in my opinion. I love it, and I love that when I do a really colorful look and I have like a lot of color going on my eyes, I can kind of tie in my face makeup by taking whatever corresponding color matches with my eye makeup. I can put it on my face, and it's just one of those looks that it just all kind of wraps up and matches each other, and I just love that look. So I really like that I can easily do it, and I love that their formula allows for you to be able to use it on your face, and it's not like a streak of color. So it has a lot of shine to it. It has that hint of color, but as long as you're careful and don't like lay it on with an eyeshadow brush, it'll give you that wash of color that will really tie it into whatever color you're using on your lids. But yeah, I did want to throw out there that I did use almost all of them as a face highlight. I used these 3. I guess I didn't use, I don't think I used the purple because it has a bit of depth to it, so I didn't think that would look very good, and I just never got around to using the blue. But these four looked really nice as a face highlight. But yeah, I don't know what else to say besides that. The mattes are so easy to work with. If you have any Give Me Glow shadows, you know their formula, and that's exactly what I find with these pastels. I was a little curious and interested and maybe a little worried to see how their formula would work in pastels, because pastels can be really tricky, but I was happy to see that it was as easy to work with these pastels as it was to work with these regular colors. Like, I think that's very impressive. They blend very nicely together. Like I said, they're very pigmented. They lay on and grab onto your eyelid very easily. I always use these with a primer. These shimmers, I went back and forth between using them with the glitter glue and then no glitter glue, and I really didn't notice any fallout. Now, when I don't use glitter glue, I do notice that they travel up into my crease really badly, but when we're talking about fallout, didn't matter if I had glitter glue or not, I really didn't notice any. To sum it up, I absolutely love this bundle. I'm so glad that they were bringing this out as a palette next year. You have a formula that's just so easy to use, and there's just the matte, the shimmer ratio is perfection and just my favorite. All that to say, Give Me Glow hit it out of the park with this. I can't rave about it enough, and I can't wait for you all to be able to try it when they release it in 2021. Alright, so I thought I was doing really good and going to be able to give you guys a shorter Palooza, and then I got to the Give Me Glow Pretty and Pastel bundle and I just yammered on for 20 years. So I'm so sorry to make this, once again, another long-winded video. But per usual, I hope you guys found this very helpful and informative, and if you were considering any of these palettes, I hope that answered a couple questions or helped you decide which way to go. And like I always say, I hope seeing the swatches on my arm and then also the looks that I did and that I created with these palettes are helpful for you guys as well. I kind of include them wherever it works for me. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down below. Let me know if you have any of these palettes, what your thoughts are, or if you are eyeing any of these palettes, let me know which one it is, and if my review might have helped you in any way, I would love to hear that. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and if you did enjoy this video or found it helpful, please hit the thumbs up button on your way out, as it helps me in the whole YouTube algorithm. If you want to continue getting daily content from me, I'm over on Instagram. I'm LadyKatie92, and I upload, as I said, about every day. But yeah, with all that said, I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye guys.